So yeah, I got to see Star Wars Episode 7 on December 19th, about a day after it came out. And here's my evaluation of the movie. Oh, before I get into that, if you have any intention on seeing the movie, if you haven't already, or if you know someone that wants to see the movie, do not watch this video because this is going to have spoilers in it. With that said, let's get right on to my reaction to Star Wars Episode 7. Now, a few months back, I made a video pretty much on what I was kind of expect of it, and some of my low expectations were justified, but it wasn't anywhere near as bad as I was expecting it to be. It was kind of a repeat of Episode 4. I mean, you have initially you have like a storm, Imperial attacks somewhere, rebels get knocked out, and then you have the unexpected hero early on in the movie, really simple life, blah blah blah. You get heroes all throughout the movie. Big bad attack space station super weapon. Rebels got to go blow it up, and that's it. That was pretty much Episode 4, and that's also Episode 7 in a nutshell. There were some things that I liked. Ren and Rey are the children of Han Solo and General Leia. In the expanded universe, it was Jason Solo being the boy, and Jaina Solo being the girl. Okay, so they changed the names and they changed a little bit of their backstory. Granted, like most of the expanded universe stuff that I know of is between 4 ABY, which is Episode 6, up until like 25 ABY, which I think is like the end of the Second Galactic Civil War. And a lot goes on between that time, so that would explain why the only splinter faction of the Galactic Empire left is the First Order. And it's a name that I think is ironic because there have been so many versions of the Galactic Empire and the Galactic Republic before that have come and gone. It's kind of an oxymoronic name. I like the fact that they didn't. I was afraid that the Rebel Alliance would be renamed into the Resistance, but it turns out that no, Rebel Alliance does become the New Republic, like it should be, and the Resistance is just either members of the First Order who broke off from the First Order, as well as people of the New Republic coming to help them. I did not like the fact that when Rey was being interrogated by Kylo Ren, how all of a sudden she knows how to use the Force. Now, here's a few theories. One theory is that Kylo Ren accidentally taught her how to use the Force, either out of incompetence or maybe he secretly has an agenda to actually make the First Order lose the war against the New Republic. Another theory is that Rey's flashback that happened inside that temple. Now, I was hoping that planet would have been Tython, but then they decided to make it another planet. Frickin' J.J. Abrams and his tendency to retcon shit. Now, you might also complain about the fact that Han Solo died. That was not entirely J.J. Abrams' fault. Yes, I know he has a tendency to kill off main characters, but Harrison Ford, as far back as Episode 6 of Star Wars, personally requested to George Lucas that Han Solo gets killed off, and George Lucas is like, no way am I doing that. And first of all, no one would like it, and second of all, it's George frickin' Lucas. He doesn't kill off main characters. Okay, so wait about 30 or 26 years later, yeah, 30 about, and he goes to J.J. Abrams. J.J. Abrams is like, yeah, great idea. I remember seeing an interview with Harrison Ford. He's like, oh, so what's going to happen in the new movie? He's like, and now I see why. Huge spoilers if he said anything. I mean, apart from the fact that he's probably contractually obligated not to say anything. Okay, what else? Yeah, big super weapon thing. They don't really explain how it just fires 5 blasts of, I'm guessing they're super torpedoes, and in the expanded universe there was stuff like that. I'm not gonna like say all of the expanded universe was great and all the stuff that's canon is crap, because there was some crappy stuff in the expanded universe, like some things in the Darksaber comics, namely the destruction of the Eclipse 2. That story was just the kind of thing that anybody can take a dump on and be a saint. If you, like, everybody, including the main critics, are saying, oh, episode 7 is phenomenal. That's because right now we're in a grace period. Give this about 2 weeks and then critics are going to start taking a dump on this, including everybody else, because the critics are doing it, and then you get some people who follow the critics, except a lot of people on the internet who don't really listen to critics. Those people I applaud, because everyone should pretty much not rely on someone else to give their opinion for them. When I watch like critics on YouTube, just YouTubers who make their opinion on something, I don't really watch that to get a point of view, but really just to confirm my already held beliefs. And if they don't, then I stop watching them. What else? The destruction of the big bad Death Star-esque thing. It's bigger than the Death Star because it's more like a planet. How the First Order had the resources and time to build this thing without being hampered by the New Republic, I've got no clue. J.J. Abrams is gonna he's probably gonna have quite the time explaining that. How did this happen? How did this happen? There's just way too many leaps in Star Wars Episode 7. For those of you who've watched it, that shouldn't be a surprise to you. And if it is, well, I'm telling you now. Okay. Rey suddenly learns how to use the Force. Oh yeah, the Stormtrooper guy. Finn. I don't remember his exact designation number. Okay. You might say, okay, Black Stormtrooper. Weren't all Stormtroopers supposed to be clones of Jango Fett? Well, that's actually explained in the expanded universe. If any of you have ever watched Star Wars, have ever played Star Wars Battlefront, okay, it's still running, and you remember playing, I'm sorry, I just gotta check. Ooh. If you've ever played Star Wars Battlefront 2, they explain why the Stormtroopers are not clones of Jango Fett anymore. Just too susceptible to corruption because there was a clone rebellion on Kamino, essentially. So they used a number of different templates, and Finn's probably just one of the templates from somebody else. That's as simple as it gets. And Finn, rebelling against the Empire the way he did, that was not the first case of a Stormtrooper or Imperial military personnel doing that. Other examples include Han Solo and David Felth. David Felth was a Sand Trooper in Episode 4. He was the guy who said, "Looks are droids." That was a trooper that sort of rebelled against the Empire, but he was doing it covertly. He couldn't directly join the rebels, so he was doing what he can to hamper the Empire. Then you got Han Solo. Before Episode 4, he was in the Imperial Army, up until he met Chewbacca, who was a prisoner of war that was going to get executed. So instead of executing Chewbacca, he and Chewbacca kill his commanding officer, and then they go flee. Don't know if you know that. I mean, it's probably going to be retconned too with some other bullshit, but that's J.J. Abrams for you, probably. Not everything that he's done was BS, but there's just some things that, I was like, why don't you read some of the expanded universe stuff? Not all of it's bad. A lot of it's good, and if you retcon it, well, F you. Yeah, I know I'm going to get some flack for that, but who cares? What else? Luke Skywalker was only in for the last little bit of the movie. That was kind of bad. I'm sorry, I'm paranoid. I gotta see how much, my battery's low. Luke Skywalker was in the last few minutes of the movie. He doesn't say anything. Yeah, in the expanded universe, Luke Skywalker did create his own Jedi Academy, the new Jedi Order on Yavin 4, and they did not exclusively use the light side of the Force, and they got hunted down several times, but the Empire and the Sith never could quite get rid of them. They almost did a few times, but they never could quite get rid of them. and apparently Kylo Ren ends up being the one. Kylo Ren, aka Jason Solo, aka Ben Solo, whatever. He's the guy with many names. Apparently successfully destroyed the new Jedi Order, which surprises me because he is incompetent as all hell. Frickin' Rey Solo beats him, aka Jaina Solo. But in the expanded universe, Jaina Solo does kick Jason's ass in the Second Galactic Civil War. No, yeah. The Krayt's Galactic Empire versus the Empire in Exile versus the Galactic Alliance Remnant. That was the Second Imperial Civil War. And that would be a few years before Episode 7. Again, a lot can happen in 30 years. So yeah, that's all I can think of at the moment. Is there anything else? The planet Jakku, another desert planet, okay. Along with Tatooine, Blengeel, Korriban, Geonosis, lots of desert planets all throughout the galaxy. You can say the same about swamp planets. You got Dagobah, Jabim, Frisia. It's not really entirely swamp. Now Hutta is another one. There's a lot of swamp planets, a lot of desert planets. It's not like, oh, well, they made a new Tatooine. It's not really Tatooine because it doesn't have 2 stars, among other reasons. But it's very similar to Tatooine. So, that's that. That's all I can think of. I love the new special effects, by the way. I mean, I think they're good. Still don't like that. I still don't like Ren's lightsaber. Just, I suppose it's supposed to deflect glancing blows, but it just, I don't know. That's all I can think of. So, Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays. PC!